Okay, this is gonna be a fun one. So a couple of years ago, the fine folks at 1423 SBS, I don't remember which is the series name, which is the bottle name, but it doesn't matter. They came out with this set of four 20 centiliter bottles that were very interesting, and I had really no interest in buying it. It was basically all DOK, DOK. What is DOK? DOK is the highest ester mark made by Hampden State Distillery in Trelawney, Jamaica. The legal limit in Jamaica for how many esters a rum can have is 1,600 grams per hectoliter of pure alcohol. That's it. Sorry. And DOK is right in that range. It's pushing the 1,600 limit. And what they have done here is they've taken some DOK and aged it in 4 different casks for 2 years. And when you buy the set, you get to try all those different cask agings on it. And that sounds fun, interesting, valid, except when you realize these casks were all 50 liters. 50 liters is about the size of, the little kitchenette in your grandparents' retirement community that no one ever uses? The trash can in that kitchenette, that's 50 liters. It is a very, very small barrel, and these were in different casks for that period. So I looked at this and I went, I was curious, of course, because you have to be curious. But I immediately thought, okay, there's 1-to-1 odds. There's 50% either way odds that this is either just going to be a mess with the cask just fighting it out with the DOK, or it's going to be basically pointless because the DOK is just going to run over any cask influence that happens. So I had no interest. A very kind friend of the channel did send me these to try out and review, and I've kind of just been staring at them because I didn't know, do I really want to do this? But then something happened. I'll pour these in a second. I will show you what happened. This happened. This is the Burke's Elements Wasser, I should say, from Rum Artisanal. This is a high ester Hampden, not sure which mark, but it's high ester Hampden, that has been aged in sherry casks for 2 years. Now, it's 400-liter sherry casks, so it's about, close to 10 times as large as what these things went into. But this is really, really good. I like this a lot. And it sort of gave me that hope. Not a great hope, like a 10% hope. These could be good. Maybe these are good. Maybe I know it's small cast. I know it wasn't that much time, but maybe they can add a little something to the DOK. Maybe this can work. So we today are going to find out. I opened these this morning to kind of get some air into them. And we will discover together whether these are pointless, whether they are a disaster, or whether they are actually good, or whether some of them are, one of those or the other. So they had a particular order of in the set. I'm going to disregard that order, and we're going to go from the Virgin Oak Cask, which I'm assuming is American oak, to the Oloroso Cask, to the PX Cask, the Pedro Ximenez Cask, and finish up with the Port Cask, which is actually pretty light in color for something aged in a port cask. Let's go. Starting with the Virgin Oak. What can I say about this? All of these are bottled at 57% alcohol by volume, which is pretty darn good. All the aging was done in Denmark. Distilled 2020 and bottled in January 2023, and that's going to kind of carry across the set. On the nose. I mean, this one really smells like the DOK, the sheer power of the maximum legal esters in a rum from Jamaica you can get. It's just kind of running over the cask here. It just smells like DOK. I mean, it just smells like that's what it smells like. So what are you getting? I've done my spiel on this before. You are getting truckloads, baskets, barrels of berries, particularly blueberries. There's also some pineapple in there, a lot of orange, but like also cherries, raspberry. There's some like fruit chewing gum happening here. You have got flowers, and you have got minerality, rocks, and you've got flowers turning into rocks and back and forth. Rummy notes, there's a little hint of aniseed in there. I'm looking for olives. I'm looking for brine. No, just that little hint of like aniseedy, licoricey thing. Once you're this high into the ester chart at Hampden, it kind of stops being a traditional rum at that point. It just kind of becomes its own thing. Which I'm not mad about. I'm looking for oaky notes. I'm genuinely doing my damnedest to look for oaky notes in this. If they're there, they're not rising to the level of perception. I'm not getting really vanilla. There might be a little hint of ashiness in there. But that might just be like... that could just be from the spirit, to be honest. But, let's put that on the board. There's a little bit of ashiness. Right? A little bit of char. And that's about it. I mean, it's enormously complex. It's a great nose. But it's a great nose because it's DOK, not because they put it in a 50-liter virgin oak cask for 2 years. Like this, so this is part of what I worried would happen. But we still taste it, right? Let's taste it on the palate. Oh, okay. There's a little bit of a little touch of like sweet tea with a little drop of vanilla dropped in there, creeping into this a little bit. Is it making a huge impact on the flavor profile? Not really. I wouldn't even notice it unless I was looking out for it. It just tastes like DOK for the most part. Wow. I haven't had it in a while, and my love for it has not waned. So, very much same kind of notes as the nose. Tons and tons and tons of fruit, berries, pineapple, orange, a little bit of lime peel, bubble gum, a little bit more aniseedy fennel on the palate, actually. Even a touch of sea salt. Wow, look at that. Some kind of bright orange in there. I already said orange, though, right? The flowers and the rocks and the sort of dance that they do. Terrific development, really terrific mouth presence. Although mouth presence is not up there with other DOKs that I've had, aged or otherwise. So I'm wondering if this has kind of been deadened just a hair by the cask aging. it's still a phenomenal spirit. But this one so far, and we're going to add water, seems to land on the, didn't do a damn thing side of my predictions. We're going to give this some water. 2, 3, 4. It'll do at least 5. I'm going to give it a high score. I mean, it's DOK. Like, DOK's one of the spirits, like, I don't know if you could actually ruin it. Genuinely. I don't know. Short of aging it in Tabasco, I don't know if you could actually ruin, push a DOK down into the 70s anywhere, score-wise. It's just that good as a spirit. All right, moving on to bottle number 2. This is the Oloroso Cask. Now, I am not aware of any shipping company in the history of, alcohol trade that has ever sent sherry around in 50-liter casks. That just doesn't happen. So clearly they just found a 50-liter cask somewhere and sloshed some sherry around in it, and that's fine. That's fine, I guess. Same stats, 57% alcohol. On the nose. I think we're going to run into the same story a few times here. All the notes I just mentioned on the nose from this one, just copy and paste them into this. Fruit, berries, pineapple, orange, rocks and flowers, aniseed, more rocks, bubblegum, all that. It's the same notes. Is there a sherry cask in there? I don't know. This one might be a hair bit more peppery. Maybe. It might be a fig or two sloshing around in the storm of like other crazy DOK madness that's happening. Maybe like an old leather-bound book or something also in that storm somewhere. But really, these two smell basically the same. Like the DOK is just running right over these casks. And that would be okay if you couldn't just go out and buy unaged DOK from the same kinds of places that will sell you this set. I mean, that's kind of the issue here. On the palate. Same kind of story. Here, I am actually getting a little bit of the sherry cask. Mm-hmm. It's there. More pepper. There's a little bit of like a fruit roll-up thing. Grapefruit roll-up. I don't know if plum fruit roll-ups exists, but if it does, there's a little bit of that. Little touch of something savory. Hard to nail down. It's not beef bouillon. It's like maybe, let's go with vegetable bouillon. I haven't used that note yet. Vegetable bouillon, a little bit. And there's some orange stuff happening too, but it's really intermingling with the DOK. I mean, once again, same story. Like unless I was looking for the cask influence, I might sail right by it. Like, this is really dominated by the spirit. when it comes to that spirit, again, I can copy and paste the same notes. Say it with me now. Fruit, berries, pineapple, orange. Almost some baijiu-y notes. But it's, same notes as the other one, basically. Rocks and flowers, and a little aniseed, bubblegum. Just wonderful spirit. Hugely complex spirit. Is the Oloroso Cask doing more than the Virgin Oak one does? A little, just a little nudge, just a little bit. But I gotta tell you, like, these casks so far just are not doing that much to put up a fight against the sheer, potency of this rum. 4, 5. I did put these in order of what I thought would be, most aggressive cask wise. So we shall see what the PX does. Okay. This is where it gets dangerous. PX cask. Also 50 liters. Again, this doesn't happen in nature. Like, they clearly just slosh some PX around in a cask. Now, Pedro Ximenez, if you're not on the know, is a sweet sherry. It is the sweet sherry. You're basically talking about making a very weak wine out of essentially like raisins, like incredibly sweet grapes that you are fortifying up to, fortified wine strength. It's unbelievably sweet stuff. Like, if you were ever buying a PX, and you should, they're delicious, buy a small one, because you will not be able to drink more than half a glass of the stuff in a night without feeling like you're gonna go into some kind of diabetic crisis. They're really sweet. So I'm always a little bit cautious approaching things that have been in PX casks. And that is no different here with the most powerful rum in the world going into a PX cask. Mostly the same. Again, maybe a little bit more reserved, a little bit more restrained on the nose. The fruit is maybe not quite singing as loud and proud as it was in the previous two glasses. But the rocks and the flowers are certainly in play. The bubblegum is still there. So is the aniseed. I mean, the fruit is still absolutely, big and bold, but it's not quite at the volume that it was with the previous two. And I'm looking for signs of PX. Yeah, okay, maybe there's some raisins in there. Some kind of like sun-kissed red box, lunchbox raisin. I mean, it's still very subtle, but it might be the most I've gotten of cask influence on the nose so far, and it's still not much. Yeah, like dirty raisins is kind of what's throwing here, but it's still really subtle. It's not something I would pick up unless I was looking for it on the palate. Oh. Oh. No. So, that other possibility I talked about where there's just going to be some kind of conflict between an overpowering cask and an overpowering rum? Here, I think we're starting to run into that territory. The arrival is fine. It's all DOK. It's all, the berries and rocks and flowers and light aniseed. It's all the stuff I've been talking about, right? it's the finish, well, the kind of the transition from the mid palate onto the finish where things kind of get awkward. Ooh. Yeah, there's like a what is that? Like a, you know, the sauce that goes on Peking duck, that kind of plum sauce stuff. Imagine like that, but it got like dirty and kind of, a little dirty, a little grungy. Maybe someone left it out too long. It started growing a little bit of stuff. Imagine that kind of creeping into the finish, and that's sort of what's going on here. Ooh. It's not destroying the effect. It's just like, if you're listening to a youth orchestra or something play, I don't know, some, a Mozart symphony or something, and, someone in the bass somewhere, even maybe the violas, someone like that, just plays a wrong note very confidently and a little bit, very noticeably. It's kind of like that. It's just there's a wrong note that's showing up there. It's still a good rum because it's DOK. They haven't, this isn't strong enough to ruin it. Hell no. But it's interfering with the effect. No. Not terrible, just clearly not my favorite so far. All right, let's give this a few squirts and move on to the one that really scares me, although the color is interesting, the port cask. 3, 4, 5. I'm very curious to see what water does to these. It could do absolutely nothing at all, because that's just kind of the spirit, the sort of spirit that DOK is. It's just power. It's just overpowering, might. That's tautological, but you know what I mean. It's a lot. So I would not be surprised if all of these just taste exactly the same as they did in the first round. But I could also see the cask coming out, or receding as it is. So none of this is. I mean, the fun of these is I have no idea what's going to happen. I honestly don't. I have expectations, but I don't really know, because I don't have experience with this. Do you? All right, this is the port cask. I do not know what kind of port, but 2 years in export, 57% alcohol. What is very weird is that this is a very light color. It might be the lightest of the bunch, actually. Well, not that I've added water, but usually port casks stuff is dark, edging into dark pink, like hot pink at certain times. And this is not that. So I'm happy to report I am not smelling overt port influence. The leafy, dirty strawberries have not crept into my DOK, and I'm happy about that. I mean, I could repeat my notes on the previous 2 glasses, on the first 2 glasses. It's fruit, berries, pineapple, orange, flowers and rocks, bubblegum, aniseed. And I'm looking for port. Is there some raspberry in there? Yeah, but I mean, there's kind of raspberry in that mass of berries and fruit and stuff in the DOK already. So I don't even know if that's the cask is not making its presence known on the nose. On the palate, Nope. Nope. In fact, this might be the cleanest of the bunch, which is a shocker. That was not what I was expecting from the port cask. It just tastes like DOK. That's what it tastes like. All those ones from before, just repeat them. I'm not even going to do it. You've already heard them a million times at this point. There's a nice extra, maybe a little bit of nice extra pepperiness on the finish, but unless I was staring at the label, I would not, even begin to suspect that was from a port cask. It just tastes like DOK. Here's something I didn't expect to say. This might be my favorite of the bunch. Because it just tastes like DOK. Let's give this some water, and we'll repeat these. 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, second verse, same as the first. Back to the virgin oak. Let us see if the cask has made itself a little bit more known on the nose and the palate. Yes, it has. We are now getting more vanilla, more kind of burned marshmallows, some sweet tea, and honestly, a lot of the fruity elements have kind of pulled back a little bit. Okay, so this more smells like something I haven't tasted before. It smells more like you've done something with your DOK, but I'm not necessarily sure that it's better than what you could get by just going to the same place that'll sell you this and buying some unaged DOK. On the palate, same kind of story. The fruity madness pulls back a little bit. The cask steps forward. Some caramelized marshmallow, some vanilla, a little bit of char, a little bit of barrel char, and sweet tea. Is it a good rum? You're damn right it is. I mean, it's a DOK. Like, you cannot kill this stuff. I mean, in terms of just raw scoring, we are talking about huge intensity on the nose and on the palate. You're talking about complexity. You are talking about enormous presence. And even with water, even with the cask coming out, it's pretty well balanced, honestly. So, this gets a 90. It just does. Is that a higher score than I would give an unaged DOK? Hell no, but it gets a 90. Moving on to the Oloroso. Let's see if the story is the same here. Not really. It's. I was expecting the cask to come out with this one too, but it really hasn't. It just smells like, DOK that's been proofed down a little bit. No, maybe there's a little more pepper now. That little hint of like old leathery book. maybe a little bit more cask influence on the nose, but not by much. Really not by much. On the palate, yeah, a little bit. Again, more peppery. A little bit more of that kind of fruit roll-up-y thing. Even a touch of like sour on this. A little bit of like a, what is that? Like a fig vinegar kind of thing. Let me try the virgin oak one more time. Same score. 90 points for this too. I mean, it's huge. It's complex. It has balance. And holds on, like it's never going to let go. And I will be burping this stuff up deep into tomorrow morning. So, 90 points. Double 90 so far. That's a good sign. Now the PX Cask. This was the tough one for me. Again, it just feels, as before, like we're in the same territories as those others. It just feels like the docky notes have kind of been subdued and kind of like dulled down a little bit. It's still a really rich rum, but yeah, this is the one where I feel like the cask has really overtly interfered with the complexity. Well, more so than the others, anyways. Am I getting rotten raisins on the nose? No, I'm not. I'm not. It just smells like DOK, for the most part. On the palate, though. Well, the good news is the kind of like gross Peking duck sauce thing I was getting before has mostly left the building. The bad news is there's a lot of excessive pepper that has kind of taken its place, and the mouth length has really kind of shut down a little bit. It's all kind of happening up here now. It's least of the bunch. I mean, and it's still pretty good. I mean, that's the nature of DOK. Yeah, I mean, so we stepped down mouth presence, but still got a lot of power. Still got complexity. It's a little bit numbed there. Still got to score it high. Just it's not in the same neighborhood as these. I'm going to call this an 87. 87 points. They have knocked the DOK down a little bit, but it's still not ruined. And finally, the board cask. Let's see if this can break into the 91 plus territory. I wasn't getting cask influence before. I'm still not getting cask influence. It just smells like DOK. In fact, this one smells like the purest expression of DOK of the set, which I repeat, I was not expecting to get from the poured cask one. Yep, same, basically the same as what it was before, and that's okay. On the palate. Yeah, fabulous. No cask influence to be found in my perception, port or otherwise. It just tastes like DOK. Now, especially it really kind of picks up on the second sip. Now, do I like this more than the first two glasses? I think I do, honestly. This is a little better. One more time. $90+ or $91? It's not enough for 91. I'll give him a $90+ though. $90+ for this port cask one. So there you go. 3 big scores and an okay score for the PX one. And you would think that would be a victory and some kind of endorsement for this, except for the context is, I honestly think the cask didn't do it very much for these. Like, just go buy DOK. Just go buy an unaged DOK. And it will, I guarantee you, it'll whoop all of these. It just will. The 90s are from the DOK, not from the cask influence. I don't really know. So yeah, I'm left with my conclusion, my bet from before that these are just a little bit pointless, to be honest. I don't know why they exist. I mean, I do, because there's some people in the rum community, they're still scared of unaged rums. Let's still look at a bottle of, of DOK with no tint to the color and say, what if it's no good? I need the darkness to reassure me that there's flavor there. And they're completely wrong. They are out of their minds, but this set is for them. If this is the only way they get to try DOK, they're getting some fabulous rums. I think these are honestly kind of pointless. But the scores speak for themselves. The PX is the least of the bunch, 87 points. Really kind of wrecking the DOK's vibe a little bit. But even then, not that much. And then you got these two, the Virgin Oak and the Oloroso, 90 points each. And to my shock, the port one does the least to get in the DOK's way, 91+. And yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and cheers.